first thing that I've got here is one of the elements from the client identity package, and this looks like maybe it's even an artboard that the student made on their own. Let's say what we want out of this is just a circle. So I've got all this extra stuff around the outsides of it. It may in fact be that this particular image came from a bitmap file, so it's hard for the student to get rid of some of the information around the outside edge. What we're doing is called a clipping mask, and I'll show you how a clipping mask works. I've got all this stuff in one layer here. I think I'll just keep using the same layer. I'm actually going to go and create an ellipse so I can get rid of the white pixels around here. I can tell, since I have the transparency grid active, that if it was in fact transparent, I would be seeing through there. Also, the graphic isn't quite centered on this circle. I'm not sure why that happened, but we're going to fix that problem because I created a little guide here so I can tell that the important part of the graphic is actually centered in this square now. And we're going to cut off a little more of this green circle on this side than we are on this side. But here's how I'm going to make that happen with a clipping mask. Have an ellipse. I'm going to start in the center. This just gives me an extra opportunity to show you you can radiate a circle out from the center of an object by hitting not only Shift but also Option. You can see my cursor changes into a crosshair, and I'm making a perfect circle radiating out from the center, and I just touched the outside edge of the artboards right now. You'll be able to see, yeah, you can see what actually overlaps and what part we're cutting out of the green circle and also the other stuff there. So I have a circle up in front of the image I want to keep, and I need to make sure that both of those objects are selected using the regular selection tool. And now we're going to do this. This is where you find it. Object, clipping mask, and make. Watch what happens when I do this. It took the top object and removed anything underneath the top object. If I go look in my layers now, I see that there's a clipping mask in layer 1. Underneath the clipping mask are the two objects that I used. So the top object masked everything that's underneath it. If you're stuck in a clipping mask and you don't want to use it, you can always make sure that your object is selected and go back to clipping mask and release it. Now you have all of the objects ready to go again. It looks like it took the fill out of that circle, but you can still go back and make that clipping mask again if you need to. Object, clipping mask, make, boom, there it is. Clipping mask. I should probably say this also. Clipping mask doesn't have to have anything to do with a circle. You can make a clipping mask out of any kind of shape, including a compound path or a rectangle, or a compound path, or anything that you can think of that's a vector shape in Illustrator.